Ooh, recording.
Yeah, well, we post on our YouTube page. So,
Cool.
yeah,
Great.
a lot of fun. So we have a few of the kids from the club today. Katie, Elena, Liam.
Hello, hello,
This
hello.
is Meredith Funk, and she has a business called It's Just So You. And
That's right.
makes and designs jewelry. And so um, just gonna hand it to you. What do you want to talk about some of the jewelry that you make or some of your like designs? And I mean, just have at it. Do you guys have,
Okay.
or if you want, yeah, let's start with you, and then we'll get into any questions that the kids may have.
Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Well, it's not easy being your own boss, although it is really fun and I never have to wear real pants. So that's a bonus to my job. But I guess I'll just start from the beginning, how it even started. It wasn't something I necessarily like had a goal to achieve. It just kind of started happening and I rolled with it and it just kind of grew organically, if you will. Uh you all know about like maker spaces and stuff. You've heard of that. A lot of your schools now might have like a 3D printer in the library and stuff like that. So my husband actually joined one when we lived down in Denver, and he would make just like little Triforces. We all know Legend of Zelda. Everyone knows that. And he would make little Triforce earrings. I actually have still the very first Triforce. I didn't even make this. He did just for me. And he's like, put a necklace on it or something, turn it into jewelry just for fun or whatever. And I'm like, thanks, hun. And I wore them to my job. You guys probably know it because you have some down there. I was a manager at a Tokyo Joe's. Tokyo Joe's, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Tokyo Joe's
Yeah, Tokyo Joe's.
Noodle Place.
It's all right.
It's
Uh,
all right.
Manager there for like 5 years. So I worked my way up to the top and it wasn't really my thing. So I was always looking for my way out, if you will. But I wore my Triforce earrings and a bunch of customers were like, cool. And a lot of employees were like, those are awesome. And I'm all like, well, I'll sell you some, you know? And I think I only sold them for a couple of bucks, really just like chump change. And then everyone had them. And then we made a TARDIS design, Doctor Who. I'm a nerd. Yes, yes. Over here. Well, on my screen, it's over here. That's me, yes. And then again, everyone's like, cool, I want some. So we started selling them. And then before you know it, I taught myself how to design things to be cut out on a laser. And then I started an Etsy shop. And all the while, still working. It's definitely, you never know how an artistic career is going to go. So it's good to have the real job while you turn that into the real job, which luckily I'm about 6 years in now. And I've been about 4 years since I've been able to do this just full time. So it just kind of grew and grew and grew from those two first designs that really kick-started it off. And now I have, I think, over 300, almost 350 designs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and so this kind of started the Laser Moon store, or
Well, that was like, so that was pretty random. Laser Moon was just like a cool, nerdy store that I had. And I was inspired because when my kid was in Taekwondo at the rec center downtown, I would just walk in a big mile circle and he'd be done about when I was done. And I just saw this one tiny little store. This was maybe about 2 or 3 years into the jewelry business. And I had been doing a lot of Comic Cons, which is a super fun aspect of the business, which I'm missing so much all year long. I think it was just you and one other little convention I was able to do this year. Oh,
yeah, it's been tough. I think we've all been missing the cons.
I know. I just, even my son a couple weeks ago, he's all like, so let's all dress up this weekend. And we did. He was Spider-Man. My husband dressed up as Captain Rex. And I think I was a tooth fairy with an attitude because I don't have as many cool costumes as they do. But we had our own tiny Comic Con. We were all responsible for an hors d'oeuvre.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta just keep it real. But so yeah, I saw this tiny shop and I was all like, I bet I could try to fit a Comic-Con in this like tiny store. It was probably like twice as big as any of you guys' rooms, like bedrooms. That was it. It was like a shoebox of a store. And the rent was a silly good price. I've paid for tables at conventions at almost the same price that rent was for this place. However, it was a closet on the corner of a street no one really knew about. But I tried it out. It lasted about 2 years. And I just really liked doing conventions more than having my own store, I guess. Because then
Yeah.
I had real pants, wake up at a certain time of day. Whew, that stuff's rough. So, but it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of cool people, and yeah, I see them all the time still. Loveland
That's
was
awesome.
for me. I was ahead
So,
of
so closing the store was more about just going back to focus on the cons.
pretty much. I was making more money online selling my jewelry stuff than people coming in and collecting their pops or a cool Mutant Ninja Turtle T-shirt and stuff like that. So yeah, it was nice. What's nice about cons is the people who are putting on the convention are paying buku dollars to get all those customers in there for you. And then when you have your own store, you got to pay that rent and all the extra marketing, and it's harder to get the people. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're basically not, you're relying on them to do most of the marketing and advertising to get people in there.
Right.
And you're just buying your table and then
Crossing your fingers
crossing
and
your fingers. Yeah.
hoping it goes well.
Yeah.
When you
Do
have
you
a store,
guys,
there's a lot to it.
yeah, definitely. I could see that. It would be a lot easier just doing the cons and doing
Yep.
online sales.
Yeah, so once I was done with the store, it was a fun ride. I have a lot of cool stuff still. Like one of my signs, you can't see it, it's behind that awesome cat backpack. But like I still have stuff from the store. So it's good memories. And I didn't get too much in debt about it. So that's always a plus. And yeah, once I was able to actually focus more on the jewelry business, I was able to make it grow even more. So it's good to really just have one thing you have found some success in to kind of, water and fertilize that plant until it starts blooming even more.
Yeah. So I know we have a bunch of stuff from you. Katie, I'm sure, could show you a couple things that she has just hanging by her desk.
I believe
Is
it.
there a favorite design that you have or that you've had over the time you've been doing this?
Oh goodness, favorite design I'd say right now is, and I'm not wearing them. I got a space one on. I got little Saturns, but it's probably spaceship design, which I have some pins of. These are just here. Let me get the little sticker off so you can see how shiny it is. But yeah, a little spaceship,
Oh yeah, that's cute.
and it glows in black light. That little part. So I have them in earrings and necklace, and this is like a pin. So.
Okay, so I can't find it, but I swear I have a bunch of your stuff.
Oh, I can tell you of the bunch of the stuff that you have for me. I think you literally have all of my like Totoro and Doctor Who stuff.
And
Yeah.
I have your Gigi and TARDIS necklaces. Or
Nice.
necklace. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have a design that you've discontinued but have had so much like fanfare that you're thinking of bringing it back?
Actually, I just recently on my own website, and this is a good subject to talk about for any of those thinking about doing something like this for fun or for your future, is a lot of the things that are copyrighted were what I started with and what I've had to retire kind of out, I didn't want to, but I don't have licensing technically to sell things like Star Wars. So last month was May. We've got May the 4th, May the 4th be with you, and the Revenge of the 5th and all that. So for the whole month on my own personal website, which is harder for lawyers to find, luckily, back just for the month, a lot of my, like the Imperial cogs and the Rebel bird symbols, like the good guy, bad guy, little BB-8 earrings and stuff like that, which I'll usually bring to conventions, but I can't sell them online because they aren't my original design. So I'd say, but there's some loopholes. For instance, like the TARDIS, I just call it, online, the police box. So it means something to you as a Whovian, but no one can really, I can't get in trouble for it because it's just an object out there in the world. So, yeah.
So a lot of, and that's a good subject for us to like go on to a little bit more. And I know like some of my kids have a lot of art they want to try and sell maybe at like smaller cons or stuff like that. What are the kind of restrictions around that you've found doing your business? And I'm sure it differs online as opposed to being at a table at a convention.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd have to be a really big deal at a really big con, I think, to have like someone approach you and be like, I'm a lawyer for Disney and you have to stop it right now. That probably hasn't hardly ever happened. But online, I'd say you can go pretty obscure, but sometimes even just using the title, I found video games were pretty hard about it. I had a design for Fallout that wasn't necessarily like from the game. It just was like a bottle cap shaped earring and it was kind of retro looking, but I had the title like Fallout and it got flagged and taken down for it. And it's funny because then some Star Wars things, even though they're logos are worse than if you just like, here's my interpretation of R2D2, if you will, and you just call it Little Blue Robot. A lot of people would be like, that looks a lot like R2D2, but because you didn't call it that necessarily, Disney is not going to be like, now lawyers. If you're going to do fan art and stuff, I haven't seen anyone have problems at conventions, especially because you're just going to find a bunch of fans and be like, oh, that's cool. I love that game. I love that movie too. I think it's not until you start trying to put maybe that same artwork on t-shirts and selling them wholesale and making it a bigger deal. If you're that big anyway, then you could potentially get licensing. But that's a whole other ballgame, and I don't even know that. But yeah, as far as artistry goes, I'd say definitely work on your craft and stuff like that. And then hopefully you can get commissions and stuff from, like, if you're a drawing artist, then hopefully you can inspire people like, this is how good I am at drawing all these awesome characters from everything I love. Maybe if you write a book or something, I can do your cover. And that's what I've seen a lot of, professional artists from conventions. At conventions, they sell stuff that us nerds are going to love and want. But as a professional artist, they're more trying to do movie posters and illustrations for other businesses that just need them. So it's a way to work in your nerdiness and have a whole career for it.
Nice. Do you guys have any questions so far?
So about 3D printers, where do you get those? Because I've been trying to find one.
Oh boy, 3D printers. I had one for a short while. I like lasers a bit more. They make so many 3D printers now. You can find a new one coming out, I bet you, just about every month. Good places to look is anywhere that they have money back guarantees. Never know. So I wouldn't recommend trying to look on a secondhand website or something, but somewhere like Amazon where you can read a lot of good reviews. And then if you get sent a broken one, or if they have you try it period, like a trial period, then you can send it back because they can be a little screwy. So if you can't necessarily find a good one for yourself, that's when all those maker places or libraries, when they open back up, same with schools. That's
Your
just
cat just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had closed my door, so that was unacceptable, and she has to be here now. Love baby.
On that point, when libraries do open up, guys, it is a great place. Anything Library on 120th has a 3D printer that you can use for free. You just take your supplies up there, and they have someone that will work with you and show you how to use it. Now, Meredith, your stuff, you don't do a lot of 3D printing. You do mostly laser cutting with your stuff.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, lasers are awesome. And I have one. I don't know if I can tilt this. You can see the corner of my laser. Okay. Start unplugging stuff. But yeah, like I said, I fell into it, and the reason why we ever even bought one instead of just continuing to go to the maker place was because they had said, well, we're closing. So we were like, well, we were kind of looking at lasers anyway. We'll just go ahead and buy one. And by the time they're closed, we'll have it shipped in, which is a pretty big process when something this big comes to your door. And so it kind of worked out, but there's a lot of technical stuff about it. Same with 3D printers. Sometimes you're not just buying the thing. I have to have it totally ventilated. So in my window right here, I have all these tubings and fans, and I got to make sure all my electrical, I can't plug everything into the same outlet. And yeah, a lot of pumps and stuff. It's pretty sci-fi up in here, which is fun. But yeah, it's good. There's some places, luckily locally, say that 10 times fast, that have sheets of acrylic. I have a whole bunch here. I'll show you a piece. And you can see some of the shapes that I've cut out of it. So I'll just make a design and put them all next to each other and print it over to the laser, which just uses a super hot beam to literally melt shapes out of acrylic, which is pretty cool. So I can get quite a bit of designs off of one of these, and I get them all over the internet as well. So yeah, it's a good time. I have almost nearly every color of the rainbow now, so I can get pretty creative.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what kind of laser do you have?
The specific kind I have, they don't make anymore, but the company is still around making newer models. This guy is the first laser that we've gotten. So it's 6 years old now. It's a full spectrum laser, and they are based out of Nevada. And the more I taught myself about lasers, and after getting a few of the made in China lasers off of eBay, I found that they're the same. So if you're looking at like a $400 laser and a $1,200 laser, they're essentially going to do the exact same thing with the same results. So yeah, save your money.
Yeah. So it cuts it. It also etches it.
It can engrave it. Yeah. So the beam just is a bit lighter and broader of a beam. It's super scientific. I don't even know, but yeah. So it can etch super fine details, which is a lot of fun. Let's see if I've got something etched out near me. Maybe, probably, yes. Yeah. There we go. Oh, you're gonna steal my chair. Get out. Get out of my chair. So on wood, it looks really cool. This is from Supernatural, if anyone's ever watched that show. It looks it gives it a burned look, which is really fun in wood. And then sometimes I can paint them and stuff. Oh, I have examples of that too. I should have been prepared. And I use these cool Sharpie oil pens to paint on the wood. And then we can get really kind of detailed, have little greenhouses and cactuses. And these are wood. So I just
awesome.
it etches out, and then I paint them with my special pens, and it seals it up. And then also when it etches in acrylic, it's usually a lighter, oh, it's backwards, that's crazy. A lighter color, and this I had filled in with like a silver. They're little coffins for all my goths.
Nice.
And,
So
there's a lot you can do. A lot you can do.
So do you use like an acrylic paint for that fill in, or?
Yeah, also there's this cool stuff called, I even have a brand new one I just bought here, Robin Buff, which is kind of like a metallic waxy oil, and that is really good, and it's super shiny because shiny.
Yeah. Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
there's like a million things you can do, and it's all been trial and error. And I started with just one layer designs, and then I started, layering up on top of each other and getting some pretty cool results.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Do you think, are you getting to the point where you might get like a second one, or you might need to get a second one?
Well, technically right now I have 3 lasers. However, I've never had them all work at the same time. It's usually if one breaks down or we get frustrated, then one, but I've gotten really good at repairing them now. That's another thing with 3D printers, if that interests you, is you'll learn fast how to repair your machines, because they're really not, this isn't an industrial laser, so it's a hobby laser that I use in an industrial way, so I abuse it quite a bit.
It breaks.
So okay.
Nice. Does anyone else have any other questions for Meredith? Katie, Liam?
What was the first con you went to, like, officially, as when your business, like, was official?
Official, okay. Well, the very first convention I took things to was, and it was just their last year. It was MalCon, Myths and Legends Con. So, and that was in Denver. They're through the Shiny Garden people, so they also put on steampunk conventions. Oh, I wish I had one of their cards near me. So then there's a whole list of other conventions they do. And that was the other convention. Oh, goodness, what was it called? Now I can't remember. You put me on the spot. You see what you did? No. That was the first convention I did, but I didn't even sell a whole lot of jewelry there. What I was making was just little wood signs and those little boxes, those little like treasure looking boxes you can get at the craft stores. I was just etching something on the top of them. So I was still kind of finding out who I was or what I wanted to do before it was really even a business. I partnered with someone who already had a table. They're like, you want to just set some stuff up here? And I'm like, yes. and it worked out pretty good. So I've done so many cons since then, I can prove it. That I can't even tell you the next one, because I can't even get this off of there. It's too tangled. But you can see over the years how many conventions I've done.
A lot.
Lot. Yeah. I think my biggest year, it might have even been last year. It felt like by the second half of the year, I had at least 3 conventions or events a month.
Wow.
So I had like 1 weekend off.
That takes up a lot of time, and that would be difficult. Do you find it hard to manage like the work-life balance doing that?
It's gotten a little bit easier as I've figured it out more. Like before, I would just kind of make things one at a time, and now I make them a whole bunch at a time. And I got these cool cases, so you can see like I've got a lot of aliens ready to go, and like rocket ships and stuff. So it just, so when someone buys something, I just put them on the hooks, because that's something they get to choose, titanium or stainless steel or something. So then I could just whip it up and send it out. And another cool thing is Amazon. I'm sure you guys have heard of Amazon. You guys know about Amazon? Me too. So what makes Amazon such a great place to buy from is you're not necessarily just buying from them. You're buying from people like me. Now, it's through the handmade section that you'll find me, but a lot of people in other businesses, how Amazon got to be so big and have so many different items is because just us plain Jane folk have something and we send it to their warehouses so they can ship it to you with their 2 days shipping and stuff like that. So when you think, gosh, Amazon sure has everything, it's because people like us are the ones sending them all this stuff. Not everything they sell, but quite a lot of the things that they sell is because, I'll be like, I sell my Triforce earrings. I think they're called golden triangle stack earrings. Something weird like that. But people have found it to the point where it's actually easier for me to make maybe 30 pairs of those earrings and just send them to Amazon so they can ship out the, one every couple days or two on a good day. And then I don't have to anymore. I just had to make a bunch and get them out the door instead of making one every day and sending it out every day.
So for the kids that are interested in like putting art together or putting things together and doing a table or making their own stuff and selling it, what has been the best way you've found for sales? Has it been Amazon, your own website, where you have to cover your own shipping, or cons where you're paying for a table and then having to make that money back before you make any profit?
Right. So it kind of all of those combined is what keeps this particular business moving forward. Ghost cat, that was the door. And I'm not haunted, I swear. But I had started on Etsy, and it was actually kind of hard because here I am making an hourly wage, and each listing costs 20 cents just to put it on the internet. So there's already a cost, and maybe you'll never sell it, or maybe you'll sell 100 of them. Either way, there's that 20 cents plus they take a percentage out. So I'd say if you're starting just like me at that one table I shared with a buddy while I was getting my business legs, if you will, would be in person, because then you can start building a fan base, and you can say, like, here's my website. There's a lot of places to make free websites now, even if it just attaches to like an Instagram or something. Like, here's my Instagram / what I'm calling my business. It's somewhere people can contact you for sales, in which case then if it's person to person, there's not going to be a fee like Etsy would have, or Amazon has, or even a convention has. But meeting people, I think, is definitely a good way to start your business. I don't think anyone would ever really find my website if it weren't for me telling everyone who I sell to on Etsy and Amazon, like, hey, next time shop on my website. And at conventions, like, hey, sign up to my email newsletter where I'm going to tell you to shop on my website all the time. There's a lot of work involved, but it definitely pays off in the long run. It takes a minute. Never be discouraged. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm trying to think of anything else. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about or add?
I don't know. I guess on point of my never be discouraged, there's probably been 300 million thousand jillion times that I've thought, like, oh, I'd almost rather, work at Taco Bell. At least I get free tacos, but I try to talk myself back because things will happen. People ask for refunds, or they'll say this isn't that good. Like, I've had people say that to my face. I think unintentional, to really be hurting my feelings, but like, oh, I can do that better, and you think, like, I'd like to see it try, but yeah, everything you do, even like as you go through life or as you're learning a new skill, you get better at. So it's just something you really need to, if you want it to succeed, you have to stick with it. The second you think I can't do this and you believe that, then you're going to start not doing it. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you convince yourself I can, or I don't want to, or I shouldn't, you gotta block it out. Just like if somebody was telling you, you're not good enough to do this, that should be fuel even for your own self-doubt, to be like, oh, I'll show you how good I can do this, buddy. I think of people when I was like, I think I'm gonna make jewelry and sell it for a living. I had family members who were supposed to be unconditional, be like, oh, that's nice, dear. Good luck. Sure. And I proved them wrong 20 times over at this point. So negativity makes really good fuel.
Yeah, and same with positivity.
Oh,
Liam,
positivity, sure, yeah.
yeah. Liam, you had a question?
Yeah. I was wondering, like, do you go to other states to go to conventions like New York Comic Con and that sort of thing, or do you just stay in Colorado?
For the most part, I just stay in Colorado. We're very lucky of a state to have so many awesome conventions and events to go to. It's a really nerdy state. I got really lucky living here. Try to go to other states. But when you start becoming a bigger, more legitimate in the tax sort of way of a business, it gets kind of tricky because I have a sales tax license in here in Colorado, and to go to another state, which one time I did, it was New Mexico. I had to get a whole license for a whole year there, and it starts getting a little bit much for my not mathematical mind, if you will. Once I get bigger, I think hopefully, luckily, I'd be able to do things like that more easily, because then I can hire someone to help me with all the tax legitimacy and stuff like that. So for now, it's nice to stay in the state. And two, living up north, everything's pretty central, so it's a quick drive to pretty much anywhere.
Now that's a good question, Kim, and it makes me think of something else. So staying in the state and going to conventions, but selling, obviously you're selling everywhere online. What if you received an order from someone that wanted to stock your items at like some of their multiple stores and then maybe nationwide? Have you looked into anything like that?
Wholesale, that is one thing I want to pursue more. I've been lucky. There's been a few places who have contacted me, but I haven't really reached out to places yet. But I think for the next stage of maybe even doing some crazy and like getting an employee or something to help me grow and get to the next level, would definitely be a wholesale thing. So that's on the list, if you will. I'm trying to figure out how I can make that a function on my website. So having to learn how to make websites was all part of this. So I'm still constantly learning.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes,
Did you have more questions, Liam?
Yes, I had one other question. So you go around in Colorado and you like sell your products at conventions. If you had the chance to like be able to sell your products at like Hot Topic or a place like that, would you totally just jump onto that?
If I had the chance, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for I'd say that's like a phase 4 or something, and I'm just sitting right at the top of phase 1, getting ready to level up into phase 2, which maybe might just be like the cool weird shop downtown selling wholesale. But if I could, to a place like Hot Topic or a bigger place like that, I would, and that would be huge, because I would turn this from just like a one person handmade business into I would need several people to help me manufacture. I would have to turn into almost like a manufacturing business rather than just a one man band, if you will. So that's an exciting thing I like to think about. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of books or anyone teaching people how to just get that done for a Joe Schmo. It's gonna be kind of a learning process. And who knows, maybe in a couple of years I'll be back and you'll be like, Meredith, how did you do it? How did you turn into a Fortune 500 company? Like, thanks to people like you. But yeah, and that's definitely in the works, even though I don't know exactly what I'm doing or how I'm going to get there. That's a 5-year plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that'd be a great goal to set,
Yeah.
just grow that business.
For sure. But I'm content where it's at as well. It's sufficient enough. I can keep paying my rent and feeding my cats. So,
Yeah. When you go to cons, do you make something like an item that is specific to that con, that may be like a limited edition item or something like that, if the con has a theme?
I've seen people do that, and I like that they do that. I haven't personally, at least not of yet, because there's so many new cons, I think, kind of going in and out to dedicate so much time to make a product that if I don't sell all of it, then I kind of am just stuck with. Um, but I like that idea. And I have seen some other, even laser people like make little things like that. So that's a good thing to consider for next cons, if and when they finally start happening again.
So do you try to just take items that you think would work better at certain cons? Like if you do an anime con, are you just putting together all of your kind of anime items and those would be the majority of the things you take?
You know, that's a really interesting point. In the years and years now I've been doing this, what I have found is strange and something to consider for your art making, taking to conventions as well, is every time I've done like an anime specific convention, I sell a lot of Star Wars and Star Trek and maybe just other random watermelon earrings or the alien stuff. And I think the reason why, and it's opposite, and it'll be the same thing at like a sci-fi convention, I'll sell a lot of sci-fi, sure, but also maybe a lot of Totoros and just random things like that. And then the anime stuff and whatnot. And I think the reason is because as a customer, I have to kind of, I go to cons more to sell than I go for fun. So I have to actually put myself more outside of my booth and mentally think as a customer and wander around. I'll usually do a lap too and see what other people are selling, not necessarily because they're my competition, but as a customer, what are my choices? So I'll see a lot of other people at a sci-fi convention and they all have the TARDIS necklace, you know, and the Dalek t-shirt and everything is sci-fi. So if you're looking for a TARDIS necklace, you've got, you know, 5, 6, 10 other booths to buy from. So then when you come and, oh, this chick's got anime stuff, like I like anime too, and this is the only anime stuff here. They're like, I think in the back of their mind, it's almost like, well, it's the only stuff here. I gotta get it, or else it's gonna go away, you know, at the end of the weekend, or this is the only day I'm here. Or she said she only has 2 of those. So it's kind of, it's a weird reverse psychology, but definitely bring something for everybody. I wouldn't like only bring anime stuff to a sci-fi convention. I just happen to sell that the most.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think a lot of people may think that if they brought the items that were more specific to that type of con, then they would do better. But you're saying that to bring more of a range, and you do just as well.
Definitely, yeah. So especially as aren't like, are we talking, I bet there's a lot of drawers being a comic book club and all. So if
Yeah,
that
we have a lot of artists.
nice. I would definitely start off with drawing everything you like, and I bet you the chances are is you like more than just sci-fi or anime. So draw a little bit of everything, and you'll find everyone likes a little bit of everything. So the more you have to sell, the more potential for a sale, because it's like if you only bring 3 things, it's not, you're not as likely to sell something as if you bring like 15 even. So
Yeah,
you're
that's a
to
good
find
point.
your crowd.
Right. Liam, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just keep having so many questions. Like if you have stands at like conventions and that sort of thing, but if have you ever been like a guest at like Colorado Springs Comic Con or something like that, like an actual guest instead of being like someone who's there and like do has a stand and is selling things, but instead being like a guest that's talking about being someone like person who sells jewelry and is just like one person in the group.
Are you talking a guest like a celebrity guest that would talk at a panel, or just someone who's like, I'm just going for fun?
Well, yeah, like a guest that's just not like a celebrity guest, like not like whenever someone comes in, it's like this is a celebrity at this time, but like a guest that has like Mr. Garcia doing that little panel about talking about like running a campus club, like that sort of.
I haven't done anything like that, but I'd like to. And the reason why I haven't like taught people more like business aspects of working a convention or laser cut stuff is just because there's a lot of times I'm the only person who can be at my table. So I don't really have anyone who can sit at my table and like allow me to leave it. And I frequent conventions so often, I'm very rarely just a patron able to enjoy it. So however, there is one convention I go to just for fun, so that would open up the possibility to do a panel should they ever want to hear what I have to say. And that's the Denver Pop Culture Con. Used to be the Denver Comic Con. That's the only one I allow myself to just go to enjoy. And the reason is because it's so hard to get a table at that one. But it's something I definitely consider. Luckily, my son is getting older and a little better at counting money without slipping some accidentally into his pocket. So hopefully I can do more panels and stuff like that, because I like talking about stuff and thinking, educating someone at least much. So
Yeah, I was looking at Colorado Springs Comic Con, and they do have like guest panelist open spots, and I just was looking over that not today, but a couple days ago, and it just came to mind. That's something good.
nice, yeah. Actually, I was signed up to have a Colorado Springs Comic Con, but they decided to push it back to next year since the whole COVID thing. So, but maybe by next year, I will have more opportunity and I might get in touch with them for something and like a panel. That'd be cool.
Yeah. You know, you're a great talker, and you explain things really well. So I think it'd be awesome to be able to take some of the things we talked about and translate it into some kind of panel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If I go in there at least knowing what to say, have a list, maybe some cue cards. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I like inspiring people, especially I think because there was so many people that were like, you know, it's hard to have your own business, and especially one of artistic nature, and you know, I was poo-pooed upon so much that I like to inspire others because, you know, because it's possible. I'm proof. Do it, you know, and too, like the more people selling at conventions doesn't really mean more competition or anything. We're all in this, you know, together. Let's make the world freaking cooler, because there's plenty of machines out there making stuff for us anymore. So it's kind of up to us to make the world a better, more beautiful, awesome, accommodating place. So
Yeah. I like that phrase. I'm going to start using it. We're all in this together. Let's make the world cooler.
yeah. Hey, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Nerds, we're all in this together.
Nerds, nerd power.
Yeah.
That's true.
Did anyone else have any questions? Katie had to join me down here. Katie, do you have a question for Meredith?
No.
No?
Sorry, my phone died.
Liam, you have any more questions?
No,
No. Elena?
Not that I can think of now.
No? Meredith, was there anything you wanted to plug or get out there?
I don't know. I guess well, I had thought of a few things, so I'll just keep talking, and you can't turn me off.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk inspiration. So obviously we're very nerdy people, and sometimes you can't always draw what you want because a huge corporation owns it, and things like that. There's been a lot of inspiration, I want to say, in the whole COVID thing that happened. I was worried. All my conventions started canceling or postponing. One of them has postponed, I think, 3 times now, and I'm like, just give it up, you guys. But when the whole toilet paper apocalypse happened, I thought, you know, it'd be a funny design, toilet paper. And I I did. I made it. I made toilet paper earrings and little sheet, dangles underneath it. And
I
this,
saw those. Those are awesome.
yeah, and it was just kind of a moment of innovation that allowed me to, it was a little bump in sales, if you will, online, because now I depend solely online for sales. And I was just kind of using things like that in a positive and funny, lighthearted manner, while we're all struggling to figure out what else is a good substitute for toilet paper. It's always good to have a cat around, just saying, no, don't, that's dangerous. But
That would be a funny one too if you had one toilet paper roll that was all torn up and then a cat on the other side.
oh, that would be good. Or even just like having, instead of the thing, just a cat hanging off of it. That would be good.
Oh, that would be a good one.
See, now we're thinking.
Collaboration.
That's right. That's right. So yeah. So long as it's a good fad, that's not. I've seen other people do like who was that? The Tiger King. I've seen some interesting designs.
Exotic. Yeah. I
Trends.
watched it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, and it's like, oh, this is happening. Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
just be good. Be good to animals. Spay and neuter your pet.
They should come out with good Netflix shows.
Tiger King is an amazing
Innovative.
Netflix show.
Yeah, maybe they could make some Tiger King Funko Pop.
Oh
I
my
can see that.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
an amazing idea.
If they donated the money to like rescue, like wildlife rescue places, like the one we have here in Fort Morgan.
Oh yeah, I have yet to be there. That'd be fun though.
Yeah, I
A
Yeah,
Carol
that was
Baskin and a
experience.
Joe Exotic Junko. I can't say it. Sorry, I'm tired. But though I would buy it. I would totally buy it,
Yep. See?
and I would
See?
totally say it's not a waste of money
Yep.
because it's not.
It's not.
My friend would judge me, but
That's good stuff. But yeah, take inspiration from stuff like that because it's not necessarily, copyrighted, just ideas like that. I also made a necklace that said in small little letters, if you can read this, step 6 feet back. So, just little
That's
things
good.
like that. So, when it's lighthearted and things like that, if it's a more serious subject, you usually don't want to try to make money off of it, more just like current issues and stuff like that. I wouldn't make anything profit off of that personally because I'd rather make just funny stuff or other current events. So that's something to consider too.
Right.
Because you don't want to come off insensitive and stuff. After a while, you work for yourself, but you work for your people. So you want to be supportive to everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, you guys make what you like, but make sure it's in a creative and lighthearted vein.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Let's see. And then I think the last thing in my weird, should I wake up or should I take a short nap before I really wake up thought about doing this morning? And I tell people about this book all the time. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but does everyone know who Weird Al is?
Of course.
Yes. He makes the parody music and he's got really curly hair. But anyway, he, for whatever reason, was compelled to write a children's book years ago that I actually got from the library one day to read my son, because when they're at that age, just having to read like crazy all these awesome 12-page books. And the message of his story was that he was this kid in 4th grade, and his teachers and parents are like, what are you going to be when you grow up? Like, you have to do a report about what you want to be when you grow up. And he was like, I want to be a gorilla feet tickler, and I want to be ice cream taster scientist, and I want to be all this. And his teachers are like, you need to pick a serious thing for you to grow up and do. You have to pick one. And he's just this little kid, and he's coming up with all these fun things. And pretty much the whole message of the story is you can be any age and not really ever have to pick just one thing for you to do. Like right now, it's awesome that I make jewelry and I had no idea I could make a whole living off of it. But I'm not holding myself to this as the only job I'm ever going to have to do. I didn't put myself in this. Like, so if ever anyone in your life is like, you have to pick one thing that you're supposed to do, it's baloney. And that's what Weird Al says, and that's what I say too. So you can be a lot of things all at once or all in a row or in a backwards order, just so long as you're, you know, in a good place and happy. That's pretty much what it's all about. This whole life thing.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you guys have any other questions for Meredith? Anything like maybe about running the business?
Not that I can think of.
No.
That's what I always say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes they talk, and then sometimes it's just nothing.
Oh yeah. I think because of the weather too, it was just all gloomy and it's all windy and cold. We're all just kind of got that fall feeling back for a minute. So we're just thinking about warm drinks and blankies.
We're supposed
Yeah.
to be outside
Yeah, my hoodie
doing
on, you know.
arcades and bowling alleys and stuff, but instead we're inside because nothing's open.
Yeah.
Escape rooms are
Get extra
open.
creative. Take your inside time and learn a new skill.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for anything coming up or?
Oh goodness. Well, right now I'm just waiting for all the conventions that say they're going to happen this year to eventually cancel and postpone. Or then I'm still just trying to find new cool things to laser, different materials to try out, new designs. I have a huge list of, I'd say, 50 things I want to design eventually. So when I have a chance, I'm usually doing that. Even just today, I made these little tropical leaves and stuff. So I don't
Oh,
even
cool.
turn them into a necklace or layer it, or I don't even know. I kind of, I fiddle. Right now, I'm really into gardening too. So who knows? I could totally quit this one day and be like, hey, everyone, come buy my plants. So yeah, that's what I'm
And
up
that's,
to.
you mentioned that you have a list of things designs you want to do. Do you tend to, when something pops in your head, you write it down and
Yes,
just,
I
because
do.
if you don't, you might forget about it, right?
I will absolutely forget about it. That is a promise. I have two whiteboards just in case it's going to leave my mind faster and I get to one faster than the other. And I have literally scraps of paper organized everywhere throughout my entire office and stuff, because every time I do a convention or talk with other people, I usually have someone say, or friends, family, say like, oh, you should make this design, or like, oh, you should do llamas are really in right now, you know, and they are. My pants are llama unicorn pajama pants. But so yeah, I've got lists and lists and
More lists.
to decide which to do. It's just, I guess, whichever I get really excited about that I'll jump on first, whatever motivates me at that exact moment. So it's just random.
Yeah, and right now you're kind of limited with what you're doing, but you were talking about using other types of materials. What are you excited about trying to use?
Well, I'm trying to do a bit more wood and I usually just do wood for like tiny pendants. So I'm gonna try to expand on that. But and I know I'm capable of and have done before, leather can be lasered, not only into shapes but etched really cool. So it smells like a cow that you've set on fire, and not in a good way, not like a steak. So I haven't done it a whole lot, but it's something that if I get super bored, I'm gonna throw a bunch of leather there and see what I can come up with, because it's fun, you know. And also I've seen people even take repurpose old leather jackets and stuff, even on a laser or like secondhand style. So I don't know. We'll see. You can throw foam in there and make just cool shapes like craft foams. You can laser lots of glass, although you can't cut it out. But there's been a few just even like little candle holder things I've tried to etch out. So I'm always trying new stuff, even
Yeah.
if I don't roll with it. You know, it's just fun to see. You know, what's a good art? It's not
Well, and it changes up the creativity. So if you feel like you're getting stuck on one thing or one type of material, trying different materials helps break up that monotony.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like, so if you guys are used to drawing with like a pencil or something, maybe do watercolors instead. You know, we get some paint, do a painting day instead of a pencil day. And because then even if you're like, I hate that, I'm going back to pencils, then you're going to go back, you know, like, or me to acrylic or something with more ferocity and just really go nuts with it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming down. It was awesome seeing you.
Yeah.
And it was a great talk. I think the kids had a good time.
Cool.
And again, it's Meredith Funk with It's Just So You Designs. And give us, tell us what your email and your everything is.
Okay, so well, the website is itsjustsou.com. Let's see if I have it on a thing that I can blow up something. Here we go. It's on the back of my card. It's backwards, so look at your computer through a mirror. It's justsou.com. And then my email is Meredith at It's Just So You. Another card. Let's look at it backwards. So that's how you spell that, MEREDITH. It's just so you.com. And you can find me on Instagram's my favorite one, at It's Just So You. So
Nice. And you also do commission stuff too.
I do commissions all the time. Actually, right now I'm working on a Legend of Zelda wedding set for people. I'm making the cake topper, and everyone's gonna have a nice little engraved Triforce with like the name and date on it. So
yeah, that's awesome. And you've done stuff for me through my work. You've made some really cool little trophies for my work. So I mean, there's lots of stuff that people could reach out to you for.
oh yeah. Or even if you wanted to try to do, if you have like a design like for a pendant, if you're like, oh, a leaf, if there's something you can draw, I can potentially draw it out and then you can make jewelry out of it too. I can send you the pendants.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, so yeah, if you, Elena, I know you have original characters. If there was something that you wanted to send to Meredith, and then she can make you a necklace or earrings out of your characters, that would be pretty awesome.
I
And
can
so
any
what?
drawing and etch it out.
So
Nice.
can you do like personal like earrings, necklaces? Is that like one of your things?
Yeah, I'm able to do it. I don't have like a listing on my website to just go through. It's more like you just email me and we talk about it and I'll come up with a price and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Oh, we froze up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm back. Did you hear any of what I had said or?
Yeah, we heard you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like robot.
Yeah, it was. Awesome. All right. Well, it was great seeing you. Yeah. Thanks for coming down. I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll do the club. You're welcome to stick with us if you want.
I'll probably start, wrangling the cats and the people, but thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I don't get a lot of social interaction.
Yeah.
And it shows.
All right.